Hi everyone, we're here again at Home Instead Senior Care where we do a lot of our programs for Armstrong, my dog, and me. And just to say something, that if you don't, or if you like what we're doing here and you haven't gone to YouTube to check some of our programming, you can see that by going to Armstrong YouTube, and you can pick up a lot of the different videos that we've been doing. So today I'm with Meredith Schickling.
Yes.
I got it right. And her dog?
Taco.
Taco, and Taco is what?
Boston Terrier.
Okay, tell me, let's talk about Boston Terriers in general. What is the breed standard? What different colors do they come in?
Black and white.
That's the most common.
That's the most common, and they call him the American Gentleman because it kind of looks like a tuxedo.
A tuxedo one.
Because he's all black and then the white around here.
Mm-hmm.
But he's brindle. He's got a little color.
Do they always have the, hi honey, do they always have the full collar of white? Is
Yes.
that part of it too? That's the
Yes.
markings?
Yes.
Are they ever born without that?
I believe so.
I would imagine, I don't know.
I've seen all white ones.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
So we can have, basically it's black and white, or the brindle, and possibly all white. Are any of them all solid colored?
I'm not sure, but I think there's only 3 colors for AKC that is standard.
Oh, okay, well.
Because they have a bunch of different.
They keep on changing that. Okay, and what about, let's talk about their eyes and everything. Eyes, ears, tail. The
No
eyes
tail.
are, no tail.
No tail.
Born without a tail.
Without the tail.
Oh, how about that? You're born without a tail.
Yep, no tail.
Oh, that's sad. That's a sad news. And what about the eyes? Are the eyes an issue?
You got to be very careful. You should never lead them on a collar because any dog with the protruding eyes, they pull and an eye can actually bulge out.
I think I've seen that on Dr. Pole.
Yes.
When something has happened.
So you should always have a harness on them. Never lead them by the collar. Any dog that has these big bug eyes, you can run it, their eye can actually pop out.
I never knew that. I knew that that could
Yes.
happen. And I've seen that whenever they have popped out, if you take them to an eye specialist, they can, depending on how long it has been when it popped
Correct.
out, they can put it back in and stitch the corners so it isn't as inclined to come out.
His one popped out when he was a puppy because the husband took him for a walk on a collar. But it didn't, it just bulged out of the corner. So I massaged it back in. I had to do that for like 2 weeks and it's been fine ever since.
Well, the other thing that I've noticed with these dogs and also with the pugs is that all of them wear harnesses.
Yes.
And because the neck is actually the same size, or the neck's a little bit bigger than the head.
Yes.
I think that's the way I want to say it. So it's easy for them to slip it too.
Yes.
To get out of there. Huh. And what else about him? Let's talk about what about the creases on him? You have to clean them?
Yeah, I clean him. Yeah, because he gets a lot of eye.
Does he have an eye discharge too?
Some, yes.
Some eye discharge?
Yes.
You can't tell it too much on him though because he doesn't have a lot of cheek area there where it has that terrible draining. I had a poodle one time that had all those marks coming down. Oh yeah. Now, what about the creases above the nose or on the back side of the nose? How do you clean them?
Just water.
How often do you have to do that?
Whenever they look yucky.
You don't look too yucky right now, Taco. You look pretty good. Mommy must have taken good care of you today.
Yeah.
Do they slobber? I see his jowls are pretty big here.
Yes.
Does he slobber?
No slobber, no drooling.
No slobber and no drooling.
Nope.
Just has all that extra flesh down there. Do you have to groom them?
No, I mean he sheds pretty much a little bit all year long. You can see little hairs, and then I give him a bath. That's it. And he's terrible. He needs his nails done, but he hates.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
So when you get the nails done, do you take him somewhere for it?
So he's mad at So he's mad at them and not me.
Oh yeah. So you don't cut him yourself?
I try occasionally.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that.
No,
either.
it scares me.
I'm always sure I'm going to cut the quick and then I'm going to have a bloody deal. And I took mine to the groomer one time, and she happened to cut the quick. She was just beside herself. And I said, don't worry about it. I mean, the dog's going to survive.
It happens.
It just happens sometimes. And born without a tail.
Yes.
Huh. Do they ever have fur on their legs? Or are they always real?
They're always real thin.
Really thin skin on the legs.
Yep.
Why did you pick this breed?
Because my girlfriend had them. And I just love them.
And someone said, hold this dog, it's so cute.
No, I saw an ad, we went and looked, and we came home with them.
Why? What is the attraction in these dogs?
They're weird.
They are weird.
Yes, they snort, they smell. They
Do you snort all the time?
oh, terrible gas.
Terrible gas. Now, I feel closer to you now that
Yeah.
you've shared that taco. Does it matter what food you give them, or it's just...
No, they said something about because their mouth is so large that they intake so much air all the time, so they're naturally gassy.
We talked about dogs like this whenever we were doing a program. Maybe it wasn't here. I think it was on 101.7 I did one about dogs in the summer heat.
Oh, he
And
does not do well with extreme
No,
heat
and they don't
or
because
cold.
of the short nose, and
Yes.
I have a Shih Tzu, and also the, I guess the throat and things like
Yes. So very sensitive, extreme heat or cold.
that. And cold too, and they just put a
Yes.
sweater on them.
He doesn't like sweaters, but he likes to be warm.
I think you're spoiled.
Just a little bit.
Where does he sleep?
Wherever he wants.
Okay,
Usually on the chair.
really?
Yes. And he gets angry at night and makes the husband move so he can have his chair. Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, let's go back to, you said that I was going to go back to the gas, and also with the, what's the other thing we were just talking about? The gas and,
I don't remember now.
I don't either, but
They can have bad teeth. It's
Oh,
just,
really?
Any bulldog breed has really wonky, I don't know if he'll let me, they have really wonky teeth. They're in all different directions.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're like really weird.
That happens sometimes on a Shih Tzu. They have a double row in the
Yes.
bottom.
It's almost like shark teeth. They're all,
Really?
yeah.
Does he have? Well, let's start at the top. So at the top, we got the bulging eyes.
Yes.
Got to be concerned about that.
Yes.
So, in other words, you can't have one of these dogs and just not take care of them. You've got
Correct.
It takes a lot of care, because you've got to be aware of a lot of things that could
Yes.
happen. Okay, so we've got the bulging eyes. We've got the short no nose. It's kind of stuck in there. And then we've got the creases there on both sides
Yep.
that have to be cleaned out. And
Yes.
you said you do that. How can you
Just
tell?
water, paper, it just,
Do they smell?
yes.
So whenever they start to smell, you know.
I just pretty much do it every day a little bit.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What about the ears? Do you have to do anything with the ears?
Nope, never had a problem with his ears.
Because he has up ears.
Yes.
Instead of the down.
Correct.
For our viewers, the dogs that have more trouble with the ears are the dogs that have the down ears.
Yes, because the air doesn't get in there.
Right. Okay, and on the jowls, you said he doesn't slobber.
No. Doesn't drool.
And what about the teeth? Have you had any pulled?
No, I've been lucky.
Do you do dentals on him?
He's due to get a cleaning.
Do you have a cleaning done?
Yeah.
Do you ever scrub dogs' teeth yourself?
No.
I haven't either. And you know,
No.
I was at the vet's office and they were trying to talk me into that. And they have the toothbrush. I should bring somebody in that shows that. I could bring my dog in and
Yeah.
we could demonstrate it. And you can either use a regular toothbrush and use doggy toothpaste. And then there's another one you can just put on your finger that's rough on the one side, and you can put your finger in and you can
Oh.
do the teeth like that, so that the dog wouldn't be attacking the toothbrush. Okay, so then we've got to wear the collar. You can wear a collar. Of course.
Yes, I just don't leave.
Why do you wear the collar?
Well, so, I don't know.
Do you ever grab him by it?
No.
Oh, just always the harness.
Yes.
Does he have the harness on all the time?
No, only when we go someplace.
Oh, well, you must be dressed up today because you're going someplace. And we talked about, although he has the jowls there on both sides, you would see, almost looks like a boxer face.
Yes.
It really does.
Well, they bred from a white bulldog, and I can't remember the other mix.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But you say he doesn't slobber.
No.
What about if he drinks water?
No.
No. What about food? Is he he'll eat hard food or?
Yes, he'll eat anything.
He doesn't look like he's not heavy at all.
No, he's the only dog that we've had neutered that didn't gain weight.
Oh, that was good. I liked how quickly you sat down. Well, what about now? There's very little skin on, or very little fur on.
He's got
Oh, I know.
some sort of an allergy.
Oh, is that what that is?
We
Is that
just-
common
Yes.
with the Boston Terriers?
Yes.
Oh. I think I've got a friend here for life.
Yes.
So is this the allergies, the red that's
Yes.
showing there?
Yes.
Now, is that treatable?
Yes. We changed foods. We're trying to see what is going on.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit with dogs.
Yes.
And you've neutered him. Why did you neuter him? You weren't planning on having him.
I would love to have had puppies, but it takes a couple of years to find out how healthy the dog is and
Yeah.
what's going on with him. And so we just had him neutered because they say if you don't get him neutered, they can get prostate cancer, is
Right,
it? Yes.
right. We were talking about that recently in one of our other programs because the collie that I just ended up with had mammary gland.
Yes.
Masses in the mammary gland. And why? Because she was 2.5 years of age and she was never spayed.
Yes.
And if you don't spay and neuter these dogs, people don't realize that.
Yes.
They think, well, I don't have to spay or neuter my dog. Maybe I'm not, there's not going to see any other dogs. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to impregnate. She's not going to get pregnant. Well, first of all, the male dog often comes through very quickly and to get to the female. But the unneutered and unspayed dogs have a greater tendency of cancer.
Yes.
Very, very high incident. With mine that we just recently dealt with, the masses in the mammary gland is about 65% cancerous. So that was nerve-wracking for the 10 days till we got the results back. Huh. Where did you tell me he sleeps?
He likes the recliner in the living room.
Oh, he does?
Yes.
Now, do you have a window where he can look out the window while you're not home?
Sliding glass door.
Oh, and is that where he sits all day?
Well, he can go in and out of the house. He can go in the back deck or in the house.
Oh, you have one of those things in the door?
So he can go in and out. He's not allowed in the dog fence when we're not home, but he can go on the back deck because we have a metal gate on it, so he can't.
Does he do that?
Yes. He'll go out and lay in the sun on the deck.
Maybe your little rash on your legs is from sun. You've had too much sun. Maybe you're suffering from sun poisoning or something. What else can you tell me about these dogs? We've talked about the size, we've talked about the colors, we've talked about the eyes, the ears, the health issues.
I have not had any with him.
What are they common for? We know that they've got the trouble with the eyes. Heart.
Yes, I know they can have heart issues.
Haven't had any trouble at all with him?
Nope.
Where'd you get him?
We got him in Erie.
From a breeder? Or was he?
It was an ad. They had 2 Boston Terriers. I don't know.
I wonder how many. I wouldn't think there's too many Boston Terriers in the litter. Whenever
they had a large litter.
Did they really?
Yes.
I wouldn't think
there
so.
was like 6 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't a pepper mill or anything. You don't know.
I do not know. I don't know.
How much do they weigh? What's he weigh?
I think he's right around 20 pounds.
I've seen ones that are bigger.
Yes.
But they're bigger because the owners tend to constantly give the food and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It looks to me like you've really watched his weight though.
Yes.
Because it's not heavy at all.
No, he's perfect.
What's he like with, he liked us.
Yes.
What's he like with children?
Good. He loves kids.
Does he?
Yes.
Do you think they are like that?
I have no idea. But he's really good with everybody.
Wow. How about with other dogs?
Bigger dogs scare him.
Oh.
Yeah, they do.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do scare him. But the little dogs, he's fine with.
Why did we talked about this? You had collies. Why in heaven's name did you go to a smaller dog?
Because I started having problems with the collies. The one had hip and neurological issues and picking them up, and so I decided to go with something smaller and less fur.
Well, you still have the shedding though. But
Yes.
you know, the rule that you're supposed to follow, of course, I'm totally against, I should follow this rule and I don't, but as we get older, you should never get a dog you can't pick up. What do? I turn around and get another collie.
Yes.
But that's the advantage of the small ones because I was loading dogs taking to the vet today, and the little one, I just threw him in the car.
Yeah.
The big one, what a struggle that was to get him in because she's older, and I said, oh my God, I thought I was going to break my back in the process. So that's the advantage of the smaller dog. You can just pick them up.
They eat less.
They do.
Yeah.
I never thought about
Yeah,
that.
they eat less.
And so you only have one dog to go to the vet.
Oh, I have 4 dogs total.
Oh, at home?
Yes.
Oh, what else do you have?
A Chihuahua, long-haired, a Schipperke, and a Pomeranian mix.
Is the Schipperke an AKC dog?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I might have to invite you back to do the Schipperke. How old is the Schipperke?
We have no idea.
Oh.
She was a rescue dog from the shelter. We're thinking she's in her late teens, mid-teens. She's up there.
And how does he get along with everybody else? Who's the boss?
The Schipperke.
Really?
Yes, the female.
Is she a little bit bigger than him? Higher?
They're about the same.
I love
He
how
throws
lays
himself
that.
down.
Does he always do that?
Yes, he always does.
I never saw a dog do that before.
She's about the same height, but she's thicker.
And she's how old? Somewhere in the
Maybe-
teens.
Yeah.
You have a Schipperke, you have a long-haired Chihuahua.
Yep.
And how old's that one?
He's 4.
Okay, so we have the Chihuahua, the Schipperke, we've got this one, and what's the fourth?
Pomeranian mix.
You're growing into these small dogs.
I got a little collection.
You do have a collection, and everybody gets along.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. They're all good together.
Huh. Anybody sleep on the bed?
I'm not allowed to bring him in bed anymore. Every once in a while, the husband lets me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you could have the husband sleep downstairs and bring
Yeah.
the dog in. Huh. What about training? Have you done any training with him?
No.
Does he learn stuff fast?
He's a little stubborn, a little independent. He kind of wants to do what he wants to do. You can call his name forever and he'll ignore you, unless you have food.
Well, whenever we came upstairs, we're in the upstairs of Home Instead, and I think he investigated the entire place.
Yes.
He was on his own little, he was a private investigator.
He's
or
very
something.
nosy.
Yes, he is. But I'm shocked at how nice they are. I didn't know they were this nice personality.
Yes. We take him camping with us. He loves it. He loves riding the car. And he only barks when he plays or he wants something.
Does he bark, or does he really have a good bark, or is that because of the...
I think he has a decent bark.
Huh. I'm going to tell you something, Talker. You've got a pretty good life here.
He does.
Do you know that watch him lay down? Oh, there he goes down again. I think that's because you were holding
Yeah.
on and you didn't do quite a thump. What else do you want me to know about these dogs? Why should somebody get one?
I just love him. He's very loving. He gets
Is he
along.
loving?
Yes. He's usually in my lap every evening.
In other words, he's spoiled.
He is spoiled.
Is he the most spoiled of the four?
Yes. Him and the Chihuahua. Yeah.
Long-haired Chihuahua.
Long-haired. Yep.
How old's that one?
4.
You might have to be on another program with me. You've got a whole menagerie here.
The skipper key's interesting because there's not very many in
I've
this.
only seen 1 or 2.
Yeah, there are not many in this area.
Why do you rescue dogs?
They deserve a second chance.
Well, they do.
They deserve a second chance. It's not their fault always when they end up in the shelter.
Do you watch, do you go on shelter websites at all?
Occasionally. I try not to because I might get something else.
One time I was working for CASA, the Court Appointed Special Advocate, and I had some extra time before the Bark Park. And someone said, you should become a volunteer at the Humane Society. I said, are you nuts?
Yeah.
I would walk out with 15 dogs.
Yeah. It's not good.
I couldn't stand it. And I did a program recently on saving shepherds. And she was talking about all the ones that are brought up from Texas and Florida and
Yes.
places like that. But we really do need to rescue the dogs more.
Yes.
It's so important.
Yes.
And people know if they've watched the programs, I'm really big. I was up at Because You Care, and I like them because they only have about 10 dogs on site, and all the rest are fostered out.
Yes.
So dogs are not living in a kennel waiting to be adopted.
Correct.
They put them online, and then you meet them there and stuff like that. Because that's sad to go into the kennels where...
It is. And it stresses him out.
Oh, God,
I mean,
yes.
I don't think would do well in that environment. He's not used to...
He'd go crazy because he only had 4 feet by 4 feet, and then he'd be the first Boston Terrier that climbed up the fence all the way. Because I think that really would make him nuts.
Yeah, he wouldn't like that much.
What else? Anything else I should know about these guys?
I don't know. I just love him. I love the cute little face.
You don't miss the collies?
I miss the collies. Every time I see one, I want another one.
Yeah, well, everybody knows they're my favorite.
Yes.
But
he's...
there is an advantage to the smaller
yes,
ones.
he's my favorite.
Will you get another one of these?
Probably.
At some point?
Yes.
When? Which is the one that's older? No, the skipper.
The skipper key.
Skipper key.
Yeah.
Do they have nice personalities?
She was not nice when we got her.
Oh, great. I'll be real nervous with her.
Oh, she's great now.
Oh, okay, good.
We just struggled for about 6 months. And
Did you? Because she was a shelter dog.
I'm assuming, and she didn't get along with the other dogs, and she was a little bit of a brat for a while.
Oh, wow.
And now she loves everybody.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you bringing him in because
Thank
I've
you.
never seen one, and I think they are really, really cute.
They are adorable.
Taco. Oh, you're looking at me with your eyes, but you're not going to even show me any awareness that you know I'm here.
That's him.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Called my name 13 times. Maybe if I called you Taco, 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 Taco.
No.
No, it's not going to matter.
No, he doesn't care.
Well, Meredith, thanks very much. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. It was good seeing him and meeting him and having an opportunity, and hopefully we'll talk you into bringing one of the other ones in. And
Yes.
We'll do something with one of those.
Sounds good.
Again, you can watch any of our breeds if you go to Armstrong YouTube, and you can check out any of the breeds we've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're here today doing another one of our dogs for my dog and me, and again, we're at home instead. And this is, what is this dog's name?
This is Chunky.
Chunky, and the owner is
Ashley
Tripus.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, I got that right. And I was so just amazed whenever you work at Conneaut Lake that she does, and that's how we know each other, because I'm always down there with one of my crew, and she happened to say she had a Norwegian Elkhound, and that's what's this dog's name?
Chunky.
Chunky.
Yep.
Ashley, who names a dog Chunky?
Well, when we went
you
to
can
get
let him over to
him,
me, I don't mind.
there were 2 puppies, and he was the rounder one. He was more chunky, and I couldn't think of anything else to name him at the time. So
Oh my gosh.
it just stuck.
Well, he's beautiful.
Yes, he is. He's so he's got a.
How old is he? Oh, well, thank you. It's nice
thank you.
talking. As long as you don't scratch my legs, I love you.
He's going to be 2 in October, so he's still pretty young. They have an average lifespan of about 12 to 15 years.
Have you ever had one of these before?
No.
What made you, in a
No.
million years, buy a Norwegian Elkhound? You don't even find them around here, I don't think, too much.
No. Well, we do have a few breeders in the area, but we did not do our research before we adopted him.
And you're not the first person, because the majority of people don't.
Yeah, well, he was just so small at the time, so I thought he was going to be a smaller dog, and he had his curly tail, which he's sitting on now, but he was just so stinking cute, I had to have him. Now here we are.
And what's he weigh?
He weighs about 45 pounds, and on average, Elkhounds weigh in between 40 and 60. So he's about right in the middle.
Is he neutered?
He is. Yep,
Okay.
we got him neutered when he was about a year old. He used to be a little food aggressive with our other dogs, but after neutering, about 45 days after the neuter, he's never had an aggression problem since.
What other dogs do you have?
We have a mixed breed, and then our youngest is a yellow lab.
A yellow lab.
Yeah, she's going to be a year old this year.
Oh my Lord. And how old is the mixed breed?
He's going to be 3 this year, so we have 3, 2, and 1.
You know that they have inexpensive psychiatric care for people that have that have too many dogs. I know
We'll
they
both
should
be in there.
They should have been sending me a long time ago. Okay, let's talk about this. So, what is their usual size then? You're saying a male runs what?
A male runs about 50 to 60 pounds, and the females are typically on the smaller side.
And what about the colors? Are they always this is typical color, isn't it?
Yeah, so, well, fun fact, in Norway, because they're from Norway, there is a Norwegian Elkhound style that's only available in Norway, and they are totally black. They're a little on the smaller side, but complete black. Typical you see would be the silver, as I like to call it, color, which is the mix of the black, gray, and white. So he's pretty standard. A lot of them aren't so dark in the face like Chunky is
He's
here.
a beautiful face.
Yeah.
It's almost like the mask around
Yeah.
it. It's really pretty.
Sometimes we call him our little raccoon, because in the middle of the night, all you see is the little whites around his eyes.
Oh my Lord. Okay, so the size is, as we said, we've talked about the color. Let's talk about, what about the ears? The ears are up ears.
Yep, so when we got him, he was about 12 weeks when we got him, and his left ear was still flipped over a little bit. At about 14 weeks, they both stood erect, which is breed standard, is to have them tall and erect on the top of the head.
They say with German Shepherds that sometimes happens, but sometimes it can be an injury. If it's an injury, it might never come up again.
Correct, yeah. And a lot of times, if it is an injury, it comes with a lot of care that you got to keep up with to make it stand erect again, and sometimes it's not worth it for the benefit of the dog.
What about the eyes? Good eyes?
Yeah, so
what are the health problems that this dog has?
So that's a great question. Chunky actually had one of those health problems. He had a surgery. Dr. Wade performed it. He had bilateral entropion repair surgery.
Okay, that's a big word.
Yes.
Bilateral.
Entropion repair surgery. So basically what happens, and it's common in his breed, it's common in bulldogs, things with excessive face skin. And basically it's just where his bottom eyelids, come here baby, his bottom eyelids had a lot of excess skin and it caused him to just blink all the time. So we removed about an inch-long strip from each of the bottom eyelids.
Are you making this up?
Nope, it cost me $1,700. I ain't making it up.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Expensive.
yeah, because he had to have both eyes done. So it is.
Is that common among what? Common among. I'm so
Elkhounds.
glad you're here because you work
Yeah.
at the vet's office. And
Yes.
I'm always asking you questions. Bilateral.
Entropion repair. So they can have entropion is when it rolls in, but it can also roll out, and I believe that's called ectropion.
Oh
But
wow.
once you have surgery for it, it typically corrects the problem. However, sometimes it can come back.
How did you know that he had that problem?
Well, when he was about 6 months old, we noticed him excessively squinting, and I thought that maybe
Squinting.
and he always had like tears coming out of his eyes. And I thought that he had an extra layer of eyelashes that was touching his eyes and causing ulcers and things like that. But after Dr. Wade evaluated, she decided that he just had a lot of skin up there and that needed to be removed.
Was that surgery done at Conneaut Lake or was that done
Yes,
at the
it
eye
was.
surgery?
It was
by
done at
Dr.
Conneaut
Wade?
Lake. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Wade is the doctor, as you know, for most of my dogs.
Yes.
It says Dr. Becky, so I get both of them. So is that common in Elkhounds?
It's not super common, but it is common enough that it's considered one of their breed cautions when you look them up on the American Kennel website.
Where'd you get him?
I got him at a pet store.
Is he a puppy mill?
Yeah, he
Is
is.
he?
Which is super. I
What a
got
shame.
him about, yeah, what a shame. I got him about 6 months before I started working at the vet's office. So had I had worked there prior to getting a dog, I probably wouldn't have gotten him where I got him. But
Well,
I'm very glad we got him.
I know, and it's a terrible situation because they just have so many there.
Yeah, and like I said, there were 2 there when we went, but he was the shy one. They like to play hide and seek. So when we went to visit him, he was hiding under a chair. And when he came out, he just kind of rolled out because he was so chunky. Chunky because they
What
had.
other conditions are common to them?
There's not too many. Entropion and ectropion are the most common. They are prone to obesity because they are. So a little history is they were used to hunt moose in Norway, contrary to their name. In Norwegian languages and also German languages, the word elg, which we translated into elk, actually stands for moose. So he hunted moose back in the day. So they are a very high energy breed that needs a lot of strenuous exercise every day.
Do you have a fenced-in yard?
We do not. So what
What
we
do you do? Do you have an invisible fence?
No, so he's almost always on a leash or a lead. We have one of the leads that go up into the trees actually that we hook him on. And what we do is we do about 10 to 20 minute intervals of strenuous, rough play on our walks. So he takes about 3 to 4 walks a day. The longest we try to do is we try to do at least a mile-long stretch. So we really like Woodcock Dam just because it's there and back. And then we always take a toy or we find a stick along the way. And he likes to jump at you. So if you do the stance, he knows it's playtime.
That playtime.
Chunky, come here.
Huh.
Come see Sue.
Oh, yes.
So many smells.
Pull back till I can get him on camera here.
Chunky bear. He's okay.
Oh, he's coming this way now. Look at that tail. That's the tail of a chow.
Yeah, so the breed standard is to have a double coiled tail that is tightly folded up against the
It is
rump.
double coiled.
Now when he's sad or anxious or in a new place, it'll come down like this. And that's how you know that he's not feeling 100%. It's a new place, so he's a little.
Well, you know that I have a Shih Tzu, and Tyler's tail is always up like that. But whenever
Yes.
he's not feeling good, it's down, and people, it's kind of amazing how that works.
So in Chunky, he's a very emotional breed.
Now, what does that mean? I never heard of an emotional breed. She's throwing these things, an emotional breed. I thought one was psychiatric. But what do you mean emotional?
They're very stubborn, very strong-willed. Sometimes they have a little trouble with obedience because they want to do what they want. Now, when it comes to correction, we have to be careful on how we correct him, because you can't yell at him, which you're not supposed to do anyways. You can't yell at him.
No one ever told me that.
No one ever told me that.
Pull him back again so we get him on camera here.
He will, if he takes the correction, or even if my spouse and I are talking to each other and we're getting too loud, things like that, he will go sit in a corner and it looks like he's crying. And he will do that until you come over and tell him it's okay. So he has a lot of emotions with him. Come here.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, my brother actually purchased Chunky for me as a birthday gift.
Are you still friends? You and your brother?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Good. I was wondering that.
He says that I got the perfect dog because I'm also so emotional.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're a match made in heaven, the
pair,
two of you.
yeah. But they are definitely they're fiercely loyal. You know, he follows his nose a lot. So if I were to drop the leash, he'd probably follow his nose to the kitchen. And then once he realized I wasn't with him, he would come back, which is super nice.
The health issues, the big thing is, of course, is that eyes. What's that eye thing called again?
Entropion and Ectropion. I know.
Okay, that's a new one.
I've never heard of it prior to Chunky getting it.
Huh. Do you have papers for him?
Yes, we do.
Did you register him?
Mm-hmm.
Did
yep.
you really?
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, people do it, but you don't really have to.
No, he
difference.
came with papers and we had the opportunity, so we figured why not.
How's he with people?
He's great. He's very excited with people. He wants to meet everyone. Mm-hmm. He does really well with people. Larger dogs he seems to like better than small dogs for some reason.
First of all, he's beautiful.
Thank you. Can you say thank you, Chunky?
Yes, Chunky. Oh my heaven! So he's good with people.
Yep, good with people.
If I come to your house, are all three of them going to bark?
Yes. Yeah. They're definitely very alertful. You know, when something new or out of the ordinary is happening.
Are they ever aggressive?
Chunky was aggressive, but after neutering him and just a little bit of a honed in training on aggressiveness, he's definitely gotten better, and he's not food aggressive anymore. The older dog we have, I don't know.
The other one's what, 3? The oldest one's 3?
Yeah.
That's not too old.
I know. That's what I tell myself. Chunky and him, for some reason, they just sometimes they just don't like each other.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the only dog he's ever really had a problem with. And that's where his food aggression was targeted, was at our other dog. But our youngest dog never had an issue with, or any dog that we've ever met on the street.
You probably do the same thing I do, which is I'm always keeping them apart. My hand is between them, just so their two noses are not together. Or if they come up to me, the two bigger ones, if they're right here, I'm thinking, oh, this is not going well because I'm going to get hurt.
Yes.
That's what I worry more about myself getting, I think, than the dog getting hurt. But yeah, what about with other dogs?
Like I said, big dogs he's normally pretty happy with, and he always wants to play. With smaller dogs and even with cats, he has the tendency to do one of two things: either mother them and just wants to lick them, wants to root his nose with them, and always has to have them within his eyesight, or he views them as prey and will go ahead and bow down to them and then bark. And I feel like it's not a harmful prey, but more like, can you play with me, or are you something I should eat?
Oh yeah, it's an interesting combination. What about with, did we say about kids? How's he with kids?
Are you good with kids? Yeah, for some, I don't know exactly how it works in their little mind, but it's almost like he knows when someone, when it's a child versus an adult. And he just seems to have a real gentle tendency to them.
I wonder how he'd do in therapy work, or even if he did therapy work where he would be the only dog there. Then that's how you eliminate issues with dogs.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the ideal setting for him.
He's lovely. He's so nice.
He is a very good dog. He definitely has to do it on his terms. I gave him a lot of treats on the way over here.
That helps.
Yes, absolutely.
I do that a lot. What about, how about care of them? He sheds.
He sheds a lot. So he's got a double layered coat. So he, like a lot of breeds, blows his coat once in the late spring and then again in the early winter. We use a brush called the Furminator.
I've seen that.
Which is what we use at the hospital, and it's just a wonderful product. It's designed to brush deep enough to de-shed both coats, but it's got such a guard in place that it would never harm them or pull.
It's called what, a Furminator?
Furminator, yep.
And you can send to Amazon and places like that for that, or their local veterinarians probably carry that.
I think we got ours at like Petco up in Erie, but yeah, it's a wonderful product. He tends to, like, up towards his face and his chest area doesn't shed nearly as much as his rump and tail. Especially like down here in his hind quarters, and like I said, the rump just seems to be like where his longest hair is, and also the most shedding occurs. So he gets brushed like once every other day, just because he likes it. I get the brush out and he gets all excited. And then
you probably live the same life I have. People say, "Does your dog shed?" And I always say, "This is how I eat a hot dog."
Yeah.
Dog hair. It's in everything.
Yeah.
And you've got 3 shedders.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I have 2, and that's bad enough.
Just a little confetti on top.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, right. What are the good things about him?
Good things about him.
If I was saying I'm concerned about getting an Elkhound, what would you tell me would be 3 reasons I would want this dog?
My favorite thing is the fact that he's so loyal. I've never had a problem with him wanting to go to a stranger versus coming to me.
Okay.
Which is really comforting, knowing, if we were in a strange place, I believe Chunky could find me. I don't think he'd shack up with a stranger. So that's super nice.
Okay, he doesn't, and number 2, he doesn't have that many health issues. The worst is the eye, right?
He truly does not have that many health issues. And actually, the way that his ears perk up makes him less prone to ear problems or ear infections like
ears.
Other dogs. Yeah.
As opposed to the down ears. If people aren't aware that the down ears tend to really be an issue on dogs.
And sometimes the up ears can, depending if there's a curl to them or if they're just flat up, because then like debris can get into them. But because he has such a slight curl to him, it blocks and filters out a lot of that debris. Okay. So he really doesn't have
So he's
that
loyal.
issues.
He doesn't have a lot of health issues.
Yep.
What else?
What else, Chunky?
He knows his name.
Yeah, they are very, very, very smart. He has a wonderful nose. I wish we could. Unfortunately, I'm not trained enough to take him out on hunting trips and things like that. But I think this breed would really excel, even in this area, just being out in the woods a lot. So if you're an outdoorsman or someone looking for a good hunting dog, Chunky may be the breed for you.
How long have you been a Conneaut like that?
About a year and a month.
You like it?
Love it. One of the best things I've ever experienced, that's for sure.
Well, I deal with you a lot. We know that. Yes. We
Yeah,
laugh
you're
a lot
probably
about
the
that.
worst part of that job.
I am, because I'm there all the time. That's the problem with my group or with the pet cemetery. Is there anything else that we should know about Chunky in general, or that you want to make sure that we include in this? We've talked about you, we've talked about him, we've talked about his health issues,
Yeah.
and everything else.
One of my favorite, I'll tell you a good fact.
Okay.
Their lineage, the Elkhounds lineage traces back to almost 4,000 and 5,000 BC. The remains of the Elkhound have been found with the remains of Vikings and with tools that they may have used and things like that. And they're depicted a lot in a lot of Viking, Norwegian, and German artifacts.
Are they really?
Yeah. And a lot of people mistake them for other breeds, such as the Norwegian Lund Hound.
What's that?
It's another hunting breed. I believe it was used for smaller game. The only difference, though, is that they're more brown versus Chunky. The Norwegian Elkhound is more of the gray color. But they have a lot of history behind them.
You do.
That's fun to
I'm
learn
amazed.
about.
I didn't know all that about them. I always find out something about a dog, a certain breed that I never knew before. It's too bad he has a beautiful face. Unfortunately, if people have black dogs or dark-colored dogs that have a dark face, they're hard to photograph.
Yeah.
Because you don't get good pictures, but he would make beautiful portraits in that because he's such a pretty boy.
I'm worried that as he ages, because he's just got a little bit of whiteness on his muzzle here, so I'm worried that as he ages, he's going to turn completely white in the face.
What's it called? Snow face or snow muzzle or something? Yes.
Yeah,
you find that on golden retrievers too.
Oh yeah.
You have one of those. So
just because they're
you're gonna
so
get that.
light.
Are they prone to cancer or anything like that?
They aren't prone to like mast cell tumors or anything like that. I have found a few of them that are prone to cyst-like objects. It seems to be, in my experience, with overweight ones. Doesn't mean that a healthy, average body size can't get them, but I've seen where they get a few cysts on their rump that needs to be like drained, or the hair needs to be clipped around there. It's kind of like the Entropion. It's not super common, but it is something that could happen.
Do you have to, I just wanted to ask you something else about his health. What about hip dysplasia? I wouldn't think, unless I got real heavy, you probably wouldn't have an issue with that.
Real heavy, and so the hunting dogs, the ones that are used for hunting, can be prone to hip dysplasia just because of all the activity and the running. And when they come here, when they are hunting, in the act of hunting, what they do when they find their prey is they bow down and they bark and jump in a circle around the prey, dodging any attack that the moose, bear, or wolves would come at them with. So in a situation like that, someone that is out running their dog a lot, in the act of hunting, all that jumping and hoopla, that could definitely give them a little predisposition to hip dysplasia.
And you have to brush him because he does shed obviously.
Yeah, and if you don't brush him, his hair just kind of sits there, and he'll get what is called like little molts, and that's where the hair that's shedding, falling off, kind of clumps together, and then you can pluck them off.
Oh, right.
So we just like to brush them a lot so that doesn't happen too much.
Okay. Well, what do you think there, Chunky? Are we glad you're here? Do they all have brown eyes? I guess they do.
Yes, they all have brown eyes. I've seen a few that have tried to pass as an Elkhound without the brown eyes, but the brown eyes is breed standard.
What are these? If you went to a breeder instead of
A pet store, puppy
you
milk.
know what? You're smelling cookies in my pocket, which I probably have from my dogs. If you get one from a breeder, what do they cost?
So average cost is probably in between $1,500 and $2,500.
Wow.
They are, as you said, they're not super common in the area. We do have a few breeders, but typically they're used for a specific lifestyle, such as that hunting lifestyle. I got them for pleasure and I overpaid, but I wouldn't take back a cent.
That's how it works. Well, Ashley, thanks so much for bringing Chunky in.
Absolutely.
Glad to have him here, and you certainly have a beautiful dog.
Thank you.
Let me get a close-up on him because he is so pretty.
Chunky.
I love the mask around his face, too.
Yeah, can you say thank you? Thank you, Miss Sue.
Okay, thanks very much.